Hi, I'm Stephanie Jaworski of joybaking.com. Today we're going to make a key lime pie, and this is what it looks like. 3 layers to this pie. On the bottom, a graham cracker crust. Next comes a key lime flavored filling that's wonderfully smooth and creamy. And we're going to top that with lots of whipped cream. So the first thing that you will need to do is preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 180 degrees Celsius. And then you will need a 9-inch, 23 centimeter pie pan. And you can either butter your the pie pan, or you could just spray it with one of those nonstick sprays. So I've just got a little melted butter here with a pastry brush, and brush that. Okay, simple enough. So for our graham cracker crust, you can make it by hand, or if you have a food processor, makes quick work of it, so that's what I'm going to use. So the first thing that you will need is 1 1/4 cups, which is 125 grams of graham cracker crumbs. Now, you can just buy graham cracker crumbs, but I don't know why. I find they taste better if I take graham cracker and then crush it. So you will need, I think that's 8 of the commercial graham crackers. And by the way, you can go to the joybaking.com website or YouTube channel, and I do actually have a recipe for homemade graham crackers if you would like to do that. Or the other thing you can do is use crushed digestive biscuits. They make a really good crust as well. Now, if you don't have a food processor, what you can do is just take a plastic bag and then just put your graham cracker in there, and then just use a rolling pin to kind of bang it, and then you can crush it. And then you can just stir in the melted butter and you have your crust. But like I said, if you have a food processor, just put them in here, crush them up a bit. And then I like to add, and this entirely optional, I like to add 1 tablespoon, 15 grams of granulated white sugar. And then I'm just going to process it until it's finely ground. Okay, it's easy enough. So now, all we have left is to add some melted butter. You will need 5 tablespoons, about 70 grams of melted butter. And you could use salted or unsalted, whatever you have in the house. Like I said, if you're making this by hand, just add your butter and just toss with the fork. But I'm just going to process this until all the crumbs are moistened. Okay, I like a graham cracker crust. It's like the easiest of all the crusts. Now, key lime pies, sometimes you will see if you go to a restaurant or something, sometimes they don't use a graham cracker crust, they use a pastry crust. So if you want to try doing that, you could use your favorite pastry crust and pre-bake it. But I like the graininess of the graham cracker crust with that smooth and creamy filling. I think it goes really nice together. So dump that in there. And then we're just going to press the crumbs up the sides of the pan. And if you notice, I put my my pie pan on a larger baking sheet just because it's easier to lift and, put it in the oven and move it around. So just press really firmly. And on the bottom. I'm just using my fingers. You could use the back of a spoon if you wanted to, or a offset spatula. And what I like to do at the end is just go around and press it down with the back of a spoon. So once you do that, I'm going to cover it and I'm going to put it into the refrigerator to chill. You know, about 10 to 15 minutes. And then I'm going to clean up, set up, and when we come back, we will make our key lime filling. So now for our key lime filling. If you have an electric stand mixer like I have here, use your whisk attachment, or you could use a hand mixer for this. 4 ingredients is all that is needed for this filling. We have, first, you will need 3 large egg yolks, that's 52 grams, and have your egg yolks at room temperature. And that's going to make our filling nice and rich tasting. And then you will need 1 14-ounce can, which is 396 grams, of sweetened condensed milk. That in there. Sweetened condensed milk is like a ready-made concentrated sugar syrup. It's whole milk and sugar that's been cooked, and I think around 60% of the water has been cooked out, so it's very concentrated. It's, as you can see, it's thick, it's sticky, and it's really sweet, and it's really good. Makes a great filling. It's good. So now what I'm going to do is put my whisk attachment in there, and I'm going to whip this until it's really light and fluffy on medium-high speed. I would say usually I beat it 3, probably 5 minutes, so it takes a while, so we want it nice and light and fluffy. Okay, so it's really nice and light. Okay, and I beat that about 5 minutes, just to give you an idea. So now, of course, we need to use key limes, and this is a key lime. This pie was actually invented in Florida, in the Florida Keys. That's where these come from. And they're green and yellow. So you will need, we need a half a cup, which is 120 milliliters, 120 grams of freshly squeezed key lime juice. So you will need probably, I'm going to say 20. So buy a good sized bag. They usually come in bags a lot of times. So to squeeze, first, you will need also 1 tablespoon, 4 grams of the lime zest. So make sure you wash your key limes. And then I just use, you can use a box grater, but I use this microplane. I found I needed about 8 of these to get 1 tablespoon, 4 grams of the lime zest. So now, I know it wouldn't actually be called a key lime pie. We'd have to call it a lime pie. But if you live outside of the U.S., you probably can't find key limes. So you can use your regular, I know, the people that live in the States, no, it's not going to be called a key lime pie. It'd be called a lime pie. But you could use the regular limes. You need 4 or 5 for that amount of juice. And you know what? I've made it with both just to test it. And okay, it's not as good, but it's, you know, it makes a really good tasting pie. Now, to squeeze your key limes, because there's a lot, you have to do a lot, you can use your regular squeezer here, and then have a measuring cup with a strainer to get rid of any seeds. But you know what I found? One of these juicers. It's like so cool, and it's so fast to use, so I do recommend. I will do a link to one of these, but you know, you can go to any kitchenware store online to buy one of these. So you just cut your key lime in half, and then, whoop, don't do that. And then you just put that right in there and squeeze down. And I find using this, I actually use less key limes than if I try to do this, because you know it's hard going with these little tiny things. So If you make a lot of key lime pies, you might want to invest in one of these. So, I'm just going to put, and a key lime pie, although it's lime, is not actually green colored. If you see them, I know you go to restaurants, sometimes they're green. They've used a little green food coloring in there, which you can if you want to make it green, but you get the lime zest that gives it a little color. I want to go au naturel, so I'm going to not put food coloring in there. So now I'm just going to beat that in. There we go. Not too hard to make. And it tastes so good. So now we've got our chilled crust. And now we are going to have to bake this because we did use egg yolks in there. Okay. And I know I've never actually tried it. People say that you can actually buy a bottled key lime juice. I'll just tell you that, but I have no idea what it tastes like. So there we go. Okay, so baking. Everyone's oven is a little different. I'm going to say 15 minutes. That's what I find in my oven. So really what we're doing is just baking it until set. What do I mean by set? It won't look wet anymore. And when you gently shake the pan, it won't wobble. So I'm going to say 15 minutes. Okay, so our key lime pie is done. Put your pan on a wire rack, and if you look, probably can't the light, but it doesn't look wet anymore. And when I gently shake the pan, it doesn't move. So we are done. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to let this cool completely, and then what I like to do is put it into the refrigerator for about an hour uncovered, just so it can firm up and set. Otherwise, if I put the plastic wrap on top, it might stick, which I don't want. So that's how I do it. Now, I really like to chill this 24 hours. I find, you could get away with, say, 8, but I really find like when you're doing something with like a key lime, a lime, or even lemon, this type of filling, it takes time for the flavors to blend and soften, because sometimes if you eat the first day, the lime can be quite sharp, and if you chill it overnight, it just softens just nicely, mingles. And also I find letting it chill 24 hours, it's really solid, nice and firm, and you get a really cleaner cut. So that's what I'm going to do. And then when we come back, we will make our topping. So I did chill the key lime pie overnight. So now we're ready to make our topping. There's actually 2 different types of toppings you could put on a key lime pie. One is a meringue, but I'm not going to use that today. Today I'm going to use a whipped cream topping, my personal favorite. So if you have a stand mixer like I do here, use your whisk attachment, or really you could just a bowl with a wire whisk. The first thing you will need is 1 cup, 240 milliliters or grams of heavy cream or heavy whipping cream, and you want it cold. And that's cream with a 35 to 40% butterfat content, or what that means is when I whip it, it will hold stiff peaks. And then I'm going to add 1 tablespoon, 15 grams of granulated white sugar. You know, how much sugar you want, how sweet you like your whipped cream. I like about 1 tablespoon. If you want more or less, you can vary that. And I like to add a little bit of vanilla extract, a half a teaspoon, 2 grams of pure vanilla extract. If you don't want a vanilla flavored whipped cream, you can just leave that out. So now I'm just going to beat this on high speed. I'm going to start it low because I don't want that cream coming up. And then I'll continue to mix on high speed until like stiff peaks form. Okay, so we are ready. So, just nice stiff peaks. Just give it a quick stir. That's what you're looking for. Now, sometimes, it can happen to all of us. You kind of look away, and then your cream is too whipped. It's almost like butter. If that happens, don't worry. Just take some more cold, heavy cream and put it in there, and then just use your wire whisk and whisk it a bit, and then it'll be fine. It'll thin it out. It does happen. So now, just put that right on top. And then just spread it out. I kind of like to leave, I don't spread it the cream right to the edge. So that way you can people can see the filling on the edges. But you can if you want. And then if you wanted to dress it up a little more with garnish, you could take and put some lime zest over the top on the cream. The specks of green look pretty. So there, nice amount of cream on top there. Okay, and there we have it, key lime pie. So take a knife and cut through the crust. And then I like to, just with a paper towel or, clean cloth, just wipe your knife. That way so you don't get crumbs in the whipped cream from the first cut. This pie holds pretty well in the fridge. I've kind of even done it to 5 days. Okay, so let's put that edge. The first piece is always the hardest. I think I got it. Okay. There we go. Key lime pie. Let's try some. This is a really good cream pie. I like you got the graham cracker crust, nice and grainy. And then that really offsets the smooth and creaminess of both the key lime filling and the whipped cream. I let it sit overnight, and I find it's just enough time for the flavors to blend, and the lime flavor really comes out. I've made this with both key limes and just regular, Persian limes. Both are good. I mean, I like it with just the regular limes, but the key lime, there's a distinct flavor to the key lime that is really excellent. So if you can find key limes, definitely make this. And until next time, I'm Stephanie Jaworski of joybaking.com.